All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Thanks again for joining, and get my screen up. Okay, so I'll just kind of cover a recap. This is a public live stream, so I'm assuming we have people joining maybe for the first time that haven't, seen any of my earlier material or understand, my take on the market right now. So I'll go through that for them and take a look at where we are. So the market, as you know, has come off this low in a very dramatic and very bullish fashion. This bounce it looks to me to be in three waves at the moment. It doesn't seem to meet the 5-wave criteria yet. It could, but we don't see that yet. So this is just a very impressive corrective bounce. In Elliott wave theory, the B wave bounce does not have to be a certain size. It can be any size. It can even exceed the peak, as we know in a flat. So as you know, after a 5-wave advance, you have a 3-wave pullback, and right in this B wave, the pullback, the first bounce off of the first wave down, could be very small, but it could also extend, right? So this could be very, it could have an extreme reaction, but the typically the reaction is in 3 waves, subdivision, and it typically has the personality and nature of the previous bull market that it's correcting. People call this the return to normal. We just needed to cool off a little bit, that type of thing. And then the real fear and anger, wave comes later. The final sea leg down, the rug pull wave. Now, this is kind of the $1 million question. Are we going to get C? And is that going to be born next week, going into the week with this news? Debt downgrade, which to me isn't really significant news, honestly. It could be just a reason, give someone a reason to sell. And if there really is no bid underneath the market, it could start the avalanche of selling. Or it's, a nothing burger and we just keep going higher and this B wave just continues. So that's kind of where we are. And the way our system works is we don't want to buy connector waves. We stay away from them, although some people like to trade them in and out, buy them, play around in them, and that's fine. You guys can do all that. We like to buy the 3rd wave, and that's what we typically do. And if we do have it wrong and we exceed the peak in 5, we would buy the first pullback. Sure, we may have missed a little bit of the gains here, but on that first pullback we would go long, but then we would have a lot better risk setup because we would know the lows are probably in. Right now, anyone buying here, it really is 50-50 if the lows are gonna hold or not, and likely they won't hold given the wave count if we did sell off. So that's kind of this way the system works. Right now we're in this 3-wave move, and now we have to wait. We'll get this pullback. The daily cycle needs to reset here. As you can see here, this will reset down really at any moment, and it's a pretty extended compared to the historical norm here. So this should reset down, and that will create the pullback. And then when we reset back down, we can reassess where the market is. The market will either be at a 4, or it would be potentially at a new low, one or the other. If it's at the 4 or a partial correction, let's say it comes down to 492 on the Qs, and this daily resets lower, great. Then you would have a rebound, and then that rebound back up, right, should bring either the market to new all-time highs. But if it doesn't do that, and we actually still can't overcome this high after the next cycle bounce, then we're looking at a 1, a 2, and then the bear market will continue. So, and it likely there will never be a 5. and there will never be another high. So that's the type of patience that's going to need to be, you have to really know. But are there trading opportunities? There are. And there's some instruments that have better setups than others, but the indices really isn't one of them. But everyone loves to trade the indices for whatever reason, and they don't want to trade other things. So that's where we are. So the market is in this situation. Now, what could create the catalyst to start selling? I kept saying about a week or so ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, it's probably not even going to be tariff related. It's going to be interest rate related. As we saw the dip buy here that we gave our elite members as a trading opportunity playing out. And this was the idea where perhaps we're in a 1-2-1-2 by this dip, and the rates will just continue to melt up in a wave 3. And we hit this psychological freak out level, which we seem to have done recently. And even the rating agency had their freak out moment, right? So everyone's going to freak out right around here. There's going to be like a big freak out moment, and it's only going to get worse. And that's going to create fear into the market. And then somewhere around here, the mechanical nature of higher rates will play a factor in the sell-off. And then that's really uncharted territory. And then who knows? So this is what I thought would be the real next leg lower. Not really tariffs, since I've been telling the channel. And that's what we're starting to see play out. But we're not quite there yet. This news on Friday definitely, I mean, after hearing that, downgrading our debt, I mean, who's going to be like, yeah, I want to go buy bonds? Probably not a lot of people. So this is just probably going to add selling pressure to the bond market. And it's going to add a little more drama in DC as they try to pass the tax package. I'll probably delay that a little bit. So this is kind of the situation now. So that's this. And then independent of that is the Japanese yen, the central bank of Japan, which has this yen carry trade shenanigans where, it seems like to me they like to print Japanese yen and then use that currency arbitrage to pump the U.S. markets and then pay off those loans and the yen and back and forth. And the yen carry trade is what it's called. You can read about it if you want to. This is going to unwind because it's creating inflationary pressures and higher rates in Japan, and they'll be forced to raise rates themselves. That will strengthen the yen, and that will unravel this carry trade. Why are we so concerned about it? Because it can really wipe out margin across the entire system very rapidly in a very dramatic fashion. I mean, that could create. This is the ingredients for an 87 style type crash, guys, if this could really get going. So here you have a massive top, double top, whatever you want to call it, a left shoulder. Now you had this right shoulder. And now once this pattern breaks, we should really get down to 130.29. And I would expect another rebound. And then either it can overcome these highs, and then essentially the market will take off again in a real blow off top, or it won't, and the markets will go into the abyss for many years to come. So this is the situation in the yen. So the yen has another leg lower here, which is yen strength needs to continue to enter the market, and that's going to add another level of pressure of selling in the market. And then finally the VIX is at a very oversold level that will need to retrace this move. And again, we go back to the daily cycle here. Oversold here. It's going to need to reset back up. We're not quite in the oversold territory on the RSI, but we are at levels that have generated multi-month three-wave move higher. So multi-month moves higher. So the other thing I mentioned too is even in the market here, like the triple Qs, the daily is as high as it was back on December 13th, which created essentially a 4-month correction, sideways to lower correction. Okay, the 4-hour is even higher. It's as high as it was back in June 25, and essentially we've gone sideways to slightly higher since then. So there's not much. Yeah, it could go a little higher, but the consolidation on the back end is either going to create 3 to 4 months of declines, or it's going to do it very rapidly in a crash. And I think it's the rapid fashion. If not, it is going to need to bleed this RSI down on the 4-hour and daily, and it's going to take time to do that. So if we don't get a rapid crash and reset, we're going to look at a real complicated 4-wave, a 5-wave, and then another correction. So you're looking at a lot of sideways action, I think. Or you're going to get a violent crash, and then it's either going to be supported somewhere here, like one day, and then we rally back up in 5 quickly, or it breaks, I would say the key level is below 555, 556, and then we'll probably have another day of selling to 520, and then at that point the bears are back in control of the market. So we don't know, but the problem is that we're so overheated, it's just going to take a lot of time to work this out in either a sideways fashion with maybe another high and more lows and take time, or it's going to be done violently. And my bet is violently. That's my bet. But the catalyst needs to be there. And honestly, I don't think a ratings downgrade is a big enough catalyst to create any violent reaction. I don't see it. I don't see it. And then again, if you go to the Japanese yen tactically, we have 5 down. We're in 2. This predicted the rally, right? My last update to base all my members, and it's only $5 to join. I was saying this wave was over and we were about to get a bounce, and we were looking at the red, and I was like, this is likely to all go green because of this bounce that was coming, and it sure as heck did. And if I look at this structure, it looks like if you're looking for a big crash on Monday, you may be disappointed because you may get this to finish, and there still may be more green. It's just when we're here, I think the alignment happens. Is it tick for tick? It isn't. I think the market tends to lag this by maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, maybe half a day session, and then it follows suit. So I think if you're a tactical trader, this is the level. You break this level, expect more upside, green in the market. If you break this level, you can expect the market to either unravel quickly or start a correction. So that's what I'll be looking for on Monday. And really with Bitcoin, we don't have good clarity. It's jammed up in this triangle, indecisive move. I can label it bullish or bearish, so it's unlabeled. The key level is 105.666. It's got to take that out to extend the 5th wave. If it can't do that, it's likely a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So I call that the crash formation, and it's likely to just come right down to 95.9, bounce, and then a violent fall. Okay, that could be in the works, but you have to take this out first to negate that, and it's jammed up, and it doesn't know what the market participants are not sure what to do. It's a stalemate. We should come out of this around Monday morning, okay, or maybe sooner if we get maybe on the futures it can get movement on it. Gold is actually looking pretty bullish here with this bounce. Now it's got to hold this. If it doesn't, it's still just 3 down in this Y leg here. It'll go lower, but I still think this cycle needs more upside, and it seems like we have a correlation going with gold higher, the market sells off. That's the correlation we're starting to see. So again, gold pulled back, the market went up, but now if gold is about to go into a 3, then I would be worried for a big pullback. And if gold's going into a 5, and gold's kind of in this parabolic final blow off top here, that isn't over quite yet, but if you just kind of use jaw, it should go up violently. It should just continue the parabolic, so it should be more V-shaped, and that should put even more pressure to the market to the downside. And I think what's happening is the higher rates are going to be, they're going to say it's because of inflation. The market's anticipating that. Gold's anticipating, so people will pile in the gold. and then that's the inflation expectations setting in, and then all you need is one hot inflation print, and all hell will break loose in the market. Okay, and that's kind of what that selling pressure is saying. And then the Japanese yen is it's another thing in parallel. It could be related, but I think it's independent, and then this will add a whole nother element to the sell-off when it finally bursts. So that's the situation. All right. There's a lot of people, online right now pounding the chest, and they're so smart, and bears are stupid, and they lost all their money. Ha ha ha. And like, actually, the bears haven't. At least the ones I know that were shorting this box. That's why the box is a color box, because we shorted that. I mean, we're not dumb enough. I mean, everyone that followed our channel took profit in this general area, and some even reshorted and took more profit, reshorted a second time, took more profit, and then just kind of like, okay, now it's getting crazy, we're going to sit out and trade other things, right? But I don't know of anyone being like significantly blown up. So again, I'm sure there's people that decided to short in max short, and then they're missing it, but I just don't understand that. But that's what people think is happening. I don't think it is that. I think it literally is last man standing, a game of musical chairs, and the last guy that doesn't have a chair will lose, and lose big. So it's just kind of like, just every day, just kind of keep going. So as long as there's money coming in from the sidelines, and it's been low volume, it can just keep melting up. But once that catalyst that generates high volume selling comes in, I believe you're going to have a lot of people leave and panic. And a lot of people that bought this aren't strong institutional hands. They're weak retail hands, and they'll sell very rapidly. And there'll either be the institutions and big money will need to come in and buy the dip and hold the market up, or they'll step away and say, no, we're waiting for whatever reason. And if they don't step in, there will be no bid. And you will get a violent drop with no bid, and it will do what we saw UNH do. And that's kind of what happens. I mean, UNH, and that's kind of like I said, UNH is a canary in the coal mine. It doesn't represent the stock market, but it's a big stock that collapses for whatever its own reason and news. But that obviously it should be going up, and it isn't. So we can't have that. And if we have more of those, then something's going on. There's a much bigger problem. The next one to keep an eye on is Lilly. It's a huge stock. It's ready to break down in a major way. Healthcare as well, that sector. Besides UNH, I don't know. It's just something I'm seeing, okay? Luckily, they saved the staples last week. That was looking really weak. I still don't know if the jury's still out on the staples, but it looks better than I saw earlier. So, all right, that's enough of that. So that's the background, and I'll cover the other sectors as people ask questions, and I'll go through your questions, guys. Thanks again for watching, and appreciate it, guys. So let's start out at the top like I normally do. BMY. I think that's so. The thing about the health, I think that's healthcare. I think that's Bristol Myers, if I remember right. I might be wrong there, but I think BMY is Bristol Myers. So always like to look at the sector. The sector, right? It trades in. So the sector it trades in, as you can see, we have a decline here. Right, we have 3 waves, and we have this box that looks like it was tagged, and we had this like indecisive candle. We're looking for one more wave in the grand super cycle here. Now this 4 may not be over yet. Let's take a look. The reason this is important, as you can see, normally you would wipe that divergence out. So to me, this is probably just another 1-2, 1-2 here. So again, if I was labeling this, I'd probably label this as like a 1-2, and we need just 5 more down here. So something like that is what's playing out here. So more than likely, healthcare's got some more downside. So BMY, and then more upside. So that's what I think we have here. A little more downside and then some more upside, right? And then the sector hits its peak in the grand super cycle, which should generate a big three-wave pullback, and more than likely back. It could come back to 100, or even as low as 76 over a multi-year period. Now, that's what this is playing out. So that matches that. So now the question is, where are you in C? You probably are close to the end, just like we saw here. XLV is close. Now, we need 5 waves down. So we can try to do this ourselves here and see if we can figure it out. I mean, looks like we're in 5. That looks like 3 of 5. So maybe one more low. Something like that. Or it's a 1-2, 1-2, and 5 extends down. So that's what I'd be looking for. But I mean, it should be close to a turn. So our elite members, we have healthcare on our shopping list because we're so close to a dip area. Many of these healthcare stocks. This is not one on our list because the structure is not ideal to try to buy it. But if you're trading it, I would be looking for something like this. So this is what I'd be looking for. I think it comes back, takes out these highs, comes, and then at some point obviously some point reverses. It's hard to say where and when and how that will happen, but that's what it is. That's what I think it is. And then this probably will make a new high, and probably at the same point that this turns, that turns. And that's that. All right. Shane, thanks for the big super chat. I'll go into yours. So I think we're in a period of, with energy going down, and then bottoming, I believe it will bring a lot of the commodities lower, but then they'll find a major bottom again. And if I'm looking at this wheat fund, I have 3, a connector, and now you need another 3 down. So you have the first connector right there. There's your connector right there on that pump. Right, it's probably some kind of ABC here. So now you have to play the C leg out. The C leg, as you can see, needs to resist divergence. We need the bottom. Now the monthly's good, but the weekly, you really want to see that weekly wipe out. So it's probably just ready for a bigger wave lower. As we know, energy is also about to have a pretty big meltdown, right? So I'll be looking for something like that. You want to see the divergence taken out in a big 3 of 3, and my guess, if I'm trying to find the level, you could see it at 299 at the final low. It doesn't have to get this low, but it can be down in this area. That's what I'd be looking for. So I think there's more downside coming, and I would just expect that, and I would pay attention to that. And then you'll have a massive opportunity for the grand super cycle wave 3 in commodities in general, which would include oil and energy and everything else commodity related. And that's the nightmare that's facing, I think, the country, United States, in the coming years. That's the nightmare coming. But in the short term, for whatever reason, we're seeing this pullback. And it's coinciding with energy. Now, oil's been broke out of this massive pattern. Technically, we're not where we need to be. I mean, this could be the low, the final low. I still have a bounce and one more low after that, but depending on how intense the sell-off is, we could call that the final low. So that's what has to play out in this, with these commodities, with some of the commodities here like this. Then a historic long opportunity will be given to you for these energy and these commodities again that you may have missed on March 2020. You'll have another chance around here, no matter where the low is, whether the low is here or oh my gosh, here. But the future, I wish I had better news for the future. The future means this is going, and I'm serious about that. This is where it's going, 236. Now, in the shorter cycle, though, we haven't made enough separation from this pattern to fully say we have this breakdown like 100% nailed. And when we saw solar breaking out, it started getting me worried that perhaps are we still back in a bigger connector, and it's going to do this like 3 and this kind of rip back up to 82 and then crash later. So I was thinking that. I'm still not going with that. We're still short. All our members are short from the box here, right? We had a short here and had to buy here for a trade bounce, and then here we tried to play a breakout. We got signs of a breakout here, and we bounced, and then of course they rug pulled us. And if we break this 64, we'll have a possibility for another breakout to 84, and we'll probably try to buy a pullback just like we did here and see what happens. So oil is tricky, but I think we're in this pullback, and I think a lot of commodities are going to go through the same kind of cycle here. But then in the future, a catastrophe for investor, for I guess, the public. Anyone who needs to buy this stuff. The other thing is the interest rates support that chart too, right? I'm showing something like a whipsaw here, and then interest rates going to the double digits, 10-year. So that's what the charts are telling me. I know people want to hear more happy talk, and it's sad stuff to hear about, but this is the chart. This is a situation facing us, and there's really no reason to change the forecast because it's kind of all been working out so far. So the only anomaly to me that violates everything that I've been seeing is the solar breakout, but I believe that's a wave 4 breakout, and it will make one more low. So the first solars and everything else is a bull trap. I think they're all going to make another low with oil. But that's what I think. Okay, we let's go to SCLX. Let's see, this is a new one. I don't think we've analyzed it. Anytime I see something like this, if you look, it looks like 5 waves down here. You really need to just, I don't know what happened here, but with this part, you see how you broke this level. So it looks like 5, but it really isn't. It's an extension, and wave 3 is still extending lower, right? So you still have more downside that will take place. Oops. Not sure what happened here. Like that. And this became another one too. See, you would mislabel that as a 4. So so that's where you were at with it. So looking at this chart, you probably want to play the short side on any bounces in 3 waves for now. But it does look like to me maybe the 3 of 3 is about to end, and the 4s and 5s are going to begin. Let's take a look here. Yeah, something like that. So as you can see, I think it's just going to grind lower and lower, but each 4 will be a bigger bounce, and you could try to go to your previous wave 4 here. Okay, so so like this bounce could get you back up to 12, and then you go down, and then you have another bounce, you know, that gets you back up again. You know, so it's going to be a grind lower. You have to look at it this way because there really is, it looks like it's just in a bearish move off that low in 5 waves. But each 4 will be a bigger and bigger bounce. So the strategy could be wait for the bounce and 3 waves and short. And just keep shorting it. Instead of trying to guess the low, wait for the bounce and short. Wait for the bounce and short, wait for the big bounce and short, and then just push it and push it. And because I think it's just going to keep grinding lower and lower and lower. And then at some point this will end, and then you'll get the pump all the way back up to the $100. Boom, that would be the massive, massive gain. So I don't know, that's what I'd look for, something like that. Carvana, yeah, I'm kind of curious. I haven't looked at it in a while to see how it's doing. Typically higher rates aren't good for it. Let's see where we're at. So we had this ABC here, and then it made another low, right? And then it moved back up again. So my guess is it's probably still in its correction. It's still in a correction. But I'll try to see if we can figure it out. Something like that. And then you have like a 1, 2, a 1, 2, right? Let's look at the divergences. So we'll just tweak it a little bit. Something like this. If I can get it. Something like that. So that's where it is. And then the market will have to make a decision to either rug pull this thing back down in a flat or turn it into something else. I think it's going to do that. I think it's going to turn into something like a flat, a three, and then a leg lower down. I think that's what's coming for it, something like that. And then continuation higher in the future. Because this structure looks to me, with the break of the highs, that we're gonna have more upside. I just think this is what I would be looking for here. I don't like to call that complete the way this looks to me. So I would be not interested in buying this without a better setup. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, something like this. Okay. Very kind of complicated correction. All right. And then Netflix broke out. So Netflix is probably one of the only big cap, large cap stocks that is breaking out bullish. So we have on the longer time frames, a 1-2, and a 1-2. Now, classic orthodox, if you're very orthodox in your way you interpret the Elliott wave theory, you would say no, it's a 1-2, 3, 4, 5, wave 5. Oh shit, it's gonna crash, and it very well could do that. So if it is a 5, then you have a top tier, and you have an A, B, and it's just gonna go straight down, all the way down to 680, and a massive crash. If it doesn't do that, then you're in what I think a more bullish 1-2, 1-2, and then you're going to get another 2. I think this is too shallow. I don't think the market's ready to surge higher, but maybe it is, but I don't think so. I think you'll get another pullback like this. So this is probably buyable somewhere in 1,000 for the wave 3 of 3 to the upside. One of the most bullish stocks in all of the stock market from a big cap tech standpoint. And that's what I'd be looking for on Netflix right now. I can't rule out a 5, but I would say the reason I don't think it's a 5 is typically your wave 3 leg has RSIs at the peak. I go to the monthly. If we go all the way back and look at this chart, the monthly, the peak RSI happened in 2010. So unless you believe this whole thing is a wave 5, an extended 5th wave, and this is 3, 4, 5, a blow off top that that they'll write books about forever and ever, which also means it will come all the way back down to, let's see, $13. So unless you believe that that count, right, then this RSI tells you it's got to come up and take out these peaks, and the only way for that to happen is we haven't seen the real wave 3 surge yet, and that's to come. And that's why we have it labeled this way, more bullish, and that's the way I'll go with it. So yeah, so that's the count. That's the count. Here you go. That's it. So I would, we pull back somewhere around here is probably good. It's going to be tough to kind of time it. You could try to time it with the rest of the market and where the yen is trading specifically, and the daily cycle reset. But nothing certain, and there's nothing to say that it's already finished to, and next week it's just going to go vertical, right? And I can't say it can't do that, but I think looking at where the market is, why would it do that? But the market is such a precarious situation, so I don't think it would. I think it would trade with the market down, just like this, something like that. All right, guys. Let's keep going. MVIS, let's take a look at that. Microvision. What's going on here? So Microvision starting to negate our bullish setup. This, if you looked, we're looking for this C leg. Now we still may have it. It just may be a different count now. We'll just go back and take a look at it. Let's take a look at this count. So you have 3 up. So the problem with 3 up in no 5 means it could be corrective, right? Which means it could go back and break the lows, almost like we have with the stock market today, right? Right. There's no guarantee, and this could be in 3. This could be a 3 and a 3, and then X could be in, and it could just dive down. I thought it wouldn't do that. I thought it would still push higher. It seemed unlikely given that divergence here and there. So I still think you're going to get more upside in this. But this corrective structure is going to need to take time to play out. And looking at it here, it looks like this low broke here. So we have to still say we're in 2. And then this looks like 3, a connector, and then another 3 down. So and that's maybe we'll do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So you're going to run out of room. You're going to break that low. That would be too bearish. Again, I'm just kind of looking at where we could be with it. Yeah, looking at this 3 waves down from here, I think you have to you're gonna have one more, what I think you're gonna have is one more push down, and it's gonna come down somewhere around here to retest this low. Right? Maybe we need to put the peak here, right? And it's building off of it's building a 3-wave move off the bottom. That's the only way I can go with it. If not, it's already peaked and it's going to go to new lows, and I think it won't matter because it's basically going to retest the lows anyway. So I think you got to retest the lows now coming. If it breaks the lows, then it's peaked already, and it's just going to go into the abyss. Essentially, you know what I call the go to zero chart. Now, if it can hold this level, then there's hope. But I think it's got one little dump left. It's going to try to retest these lows, and this looks like a shallow connector here, and in this, and you're gonna have one more dump down, and then it's either going to break it or it's not, and then you'll know, and then you'll know, then you'll know. So I think that's what you're going to have in store for you, something like this, and then. Either this big run higher in 3 to finish X, or it'll break the low and you won't get it. And I mean, I look at this and I'm like, you're running out of room, and I have to force this kind of weird label, which I don't really like. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if the lows break. The crypto market, I do believe, has got more downside. So WIF did surge. Remember, we gave you this box. It looks like you broke through the box. So I'd put that 4 in. So as long as you're below 133, you need to be looking for a wave 5 down. But if you can break this level again, then the lows are in. The lows are in for now. This is what I've been looking for. I mean, this is just what we expected, right? I think you asked. We were somewhere here. We got it. Now it's surged even higher, and now it's like rest of crypto and the rest of the altcoins. I think downside's coming. Whoops, I don't know what's going on here. More downside's coming. So something like that. So that's what's coming. But I mean, how it plays out, you know, it could take a while, it could crash, we don't know. But I would say I would expect this to go. And look, you had this, and you had the bounce, you just broke the low, so you're definitely going lower. So anything below 133, I think, is shortable until you get to these levels, or you break this low. All right, and then because I think crypto, honestly, even if it does make another high, I think it's just in the final legs of another V wave, and it's got its own rug pull coming moment, just like I have here. All right, and we may have already topped. We don't know. Now, if we've already topped, well, then you have your answer. I mean, where things are going with crypto. If we make another high, well, I don't know how. You know, maybe your coin will be okay. I don't know. Maybe it won't benefit much from it. The way I would play the upside is assume an upside. I would say don't assume it, make the market show you. So I would say don't assume, like it looks convincing, right? That's a hell of a bounce and makes you think, oh, that should be great, it's safe, but that doesn't mean anything. Make the market come back and take this level out. So you missed a little bit of the move. Who cares? Who cares? Once the market takes this out, then the path is clear, higher. And then it's safe to go in and buy the dip. Buy the dip all you want. But why would you do that now? This means nothing to me. This just means the market makers wanted all the shorts to be about, you know, I mean, the early shorts or anyone that short blown up. They didn't want anyone short this. That's what they were trying to do. Now, if the market, if the bulls can come back and take this level out, then I think you've got something going. Because right then you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're in a new bull market. But make the market prove to you, and then act. I never act and then hope and pray I'm right. But a lot of traders on X, and the guys, you know, posting, you know, beating their chest that they're so smart, they like to do the buy and pray and hope it all works out. And then if it doesn't, just beg their followers for forgiveness. And hey, we're all gamblers and addicts together, and we'll commiserate together, and we'll try again next time. And I don't trade like that. That's why I'm like not as I'm not just bouncing in and out on the market every day. And you know, we wait. And I'm very patient trader, right? But a lot of people aren't. So I think make the market prove to you it's bullish. Okay, O and SLG. Realty income. That may be a new one. I don't remember ever doing this one. Some kind of REIT. I think the REITs all need one more leg lower. So here again, you have a chart where the peak RSI is way early in the cycle, which means it's probably going to have more upside in the future. Let's look at the quarterly. Yeah, see. But you're in a side. You see how you're in a sideways correction here, but I believe you still have one more push lower. But that push lower could be pretty scary, right? So where are we? Where are we here? So looking at this, you probably have some kind of 1, 2 here, right? And then let's go to the quarterly again. Yeah, see how it bottomed out here. So let's take a look here. So I probably will label it the more more orthodox way of labeling it, because it's just the only way that makes sense. But it's correcting sideways essentially, but I believe it's got one more low. Okay, so it is correcting the whole cycle, but I think it's clear to me the path is going to be much higher in the future. Okay, for whatever reason, and I don't know why. Maybe it's inflation, right? Maybe real estate's going to do great as an inflation hedge in the future, right? Maybe that's what this is saying. Or rents will keep, you know, rents will go higher as inflation goes higher, and people are just going to have to pay them. I don't know what that means, but in the meantime, I think there's one more leg lower at least, unless you can come back and take out this peak at 65. Which would be very bullish for some of the small caps. But I think I'd be looking for this box right here. Right in this area, right around 38.52, 32.88. And that's right at the wave 4 cluster. I think this is a pretty clear path. You only have 3 down, 3 up, 1 more down, 1 more dump. Should do it. 1 more dump. So that should do it. Now, there's no guarantee the bounce goes to new highs, but we could bounce, and it can always go lower again. Just keep that in mind. But this is what I'm looking for. But once you get here, that sector will be stabilized. It should have buy-in opportunities again. And looks like we almost broke that low here. Again, setting the path lower. All right. Realty Income Corporation. And then the next one we're looking for is SLG. Another real estate. And looks like it's been playing out, sort of like we've had it. I'm not sure when we last labeled this thing. Again, our labels got all messed up with TradingView, which is normal to have happen here, but I'll try to fix it real quick so we can see it again. So we're in this like complex correction. Looks like we got X, we're in Y now. So one more. Again, this supports the one more push lower theory, and that's kind of what we're getting, right? That's what we've been getting, right? Looks like 3 waves down with a connector here. Yep. So one more leg lower, right? That should take out these lows when it happens. Again, for a really good buy opportunity. If it can stay in existence, I guess is the way to say it, because that's a pretty big drop still, right? It's almost like you saw back here. Same thing. We don't have, but see on the connector, we don't have a sign that it's over yet, so this can still keep pushing higher on the connector. So you don't have a reversal. Once you break 44 again, then you know the next leg lower has started, and it probably will be intense selling when that happens. So you probably know. Everyone will know and be aware of what's going on. But I'll be looking for that. It's just kind of what we had. All right, next is on WM. Waste Management. They pumped that on TV, man. They've been, CNBC just keeps pumping and pumping this thing. So this definitely meets the criteria of media attention. Now, if you look at Waste Management, you see the peak RSI. That does look about where wave 3 should be. So wave 3, so this is in a final blow off top, guys. And it makes sense because it's just like, like panic buy-in, and it's got so much media attention happening. It's probably everybody that's long is long. So one bad piece of news. So you've got a massive extended 5th wave here. Okay, and you know, it's not perfect, but when that line breaks, the bull market's over. This is going to reset. Or the quarterly is another signal here. Okay, so it's still extended in 5. I guess it could keep going higher, as high as it wants to. Let's take a look at where we are with wave 5. So you have some kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not yet. So more upside. So if I label the 5 as an impulse, it's a 1, 2, like it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? It's this hyper bullish setup. Or it's an end in diagonal, 3, 3, and just one more high. So I think we'll do that. I think we'll label it as an ended diagonal for one more high. Something like that. And then typically on the grand super cycle, we usually lose the whole 5th. So that'll bring you right back down to here, $81 at some point in the future as this whole cycle resets. So I think it's at the very end. I think it's coming to the end. But is it like over tomorrow? Probably not. It's probably got a little more upside still left in it, and maybe even a lot more on a final just to get anyone long, just to really get the FOMO in. But I'll tell you, I hear a lot about this on TV, and like a lot of pumping of Waste Management. A lot of pump. They're really trying to pump this one up. All right, next is Devon. Indo XLM. Your problem with the Devo and Indo is, you know, oil, that pesky commodity is just gonna really hurt your trades on those. There's really no way around it. Now, if oil surprises us with the connector, the breakout, and solar is telling us that, then I'm wrong. Then those things are gonna do okay. So we don't know yet. Unfortunately, we don't have like a big confirmation yet. So I'll just we'll just look at each chart on its own merit. But I do think oil is going to break down. We're short oil, and that's been the right call so far. You are in a short box in Devon too, right here, right now, with oil, basically in a short. So you have two things in shorts, and Chevron's in its short box. So the energy market is in a short for traders, short. Like you could do that Friday, Monday, you know, you could have done that right now, short, right now. Here's your stop. Put your stop at 38.22. Now, if Devon can take this level out, just like oil could take out that 64, 65 level like I told you, well then you're going to get a bigger connector. And guess what? You're going to get a bigger connector here. You're going to get a bigger connector too. And I don't think it's the low. I think it's just a bigger connector off of this X. So this one took like quite a while. So maybe this has to take a little bit longer itself, but you know, it wouldn't be as complicated as this one. So maybe it could, you know, do like a flat, like an A, B, C, just to screw with shorts. But if you are going to short it, you have to, you know, put your stop here. But I think there's really no reason for me to change this. So that's what I got. And then the next is Indo is the same. It's probably the same thing. I think the last time we looked at that, we called this on our live stream, right? It was going to come up here, and well, guess what? It came up here and it got dumped. So again, Indo's behaving just like we expected. They said it would come up here, it came up there, it dumped, and now the oil market with everything else is on a cliff looking over an edge. If oil collapses, this is going to collapse, Devon's going to collapse, and they're going to go down, and it can go down substantially. Like Devon, you could be looking at Devon going down to $15, $14, $12. Indo, I mean, I don't know where would it go. There's really no support. It'd probably come back and retest this low here. So I think I think the best thing to keep an eye on is the commodity itself. If oil is here and it can break this level, 64, then you're gonna get that. You're gonna get the correction higher. You're gonna get oil. These stocks, Devon is gonna do that rip up and that flat, and Indo will double correct higher like that, or even higher. That's what's going to happen. And that may happen before these stocks move because traders aren't paying attention. So use that as a clue. Watch oil. Oil breaks that level. You can go in and be aggressive on the producers, right? Why not? If oil breaks down, well, hell, you should have been short. You could have been short here. You could be short this right now and you're profiting. So that's how it works. So that's what I would see with oil. Now XLM, we haven't looked at this one in a while. I think it was getting close to a buy last time I had looked at it. I'm actually curious myself where it is. I hadn't looked at XLM in a while. Where are we at? Yeah, see, there it is. Yeah. So we had it as a buy on this too. We literally tagged the box to the penny, guys. I had here. I don't know. I gave this to somebody. Maybe it was you. Somebody on this channel. And we hit the box. So there's no reason to think it's going to go lower. Now, you see we have this higher high sequence. This is very interesting. Because that means it should get it should come up for more upside. So we're probably it's probably not done going higher. Now, this could be a flat. So this is really interesting clue here. My guess, let's go to the 4 hour. is something like this. What this is, again, this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. But then see how you took the divergence out? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe we should label it like something like that. That's that one cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. I don't know what happened here. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is that? 5 here. Put the 4 there. Something like that. So, very interesting chart. So, it looks to me, I guess I could go either way with it here. So if you look here, the peak RSI is essentially right here, but you did make another high. The high here and here didn't meet the level. So maybe the best way to show this count, and we are correct in this decline. Let's look at the overall bigger RSI here. Yeah, see, we haven't bounced enough maybe, and the weekly is still open. Let's look at the daily. The daily, look, the daily's almost fully reset. Very bullish. So I think the way I'm going to label it, and again, I don't know why this is different than the other ones. I don't really care. I don't follow XLM. I have no idea what they're doing or why, but I'll just label it like that. That's how I label it. So good luck, man. I think that's how I have to label it. And the daily cycle's almost reset down, right? Once the daily cycle's down here, I don't know if it's going to have a lot of selling pressure left. So that's the way I'll go with. That's the way I go with it. And as long as you're above 20 cents and 3, you should be okay. Maybe it's going to create some space to the upside. Maybe it's just going to pump on its own, and then it's going to be up here. And then when Bitcoin drops, it just drops back down, but it holds these lows, right? Just an idea. Maybe it's trying to create some space to the upside, for all I know. Now, if these lows break, then obviously you have a three-wave move, and this is just a connector. And then you've got a bad situation, because then you're going to go back, probably back down to this area down here, because you're running out of room, because you'll have to go through a whole nother 3 legs to the downside. So I have to label it this way based on what I'm seeing, because I don't see it. I see if the daily cycle had more downside left, then I would be maybe more bearish, but I don't know if there's enough time to bring it down this far. And then if it can hold this trend line, that's another clue. If it breaks the trend line, then maybe you are going to break down. So I'm going to label it more bullish, but I think you're just going to have to do what's best for you and see how you want to interpret what I just said. I would be more bullish on this one. I mean, we had this box. We must have been waiting for this box forever. I'm surprised it got hit. We just hadn't been really paying attention to it. All right. Let's take a look at LCID. Lucid Group. Let's take a look. We need that wild. It looks like one more wave down. Now we did break these lows here. If we broke it and erased divergence, we could call the Y finished. Yeah, we're not even close. Yeah, so not yet. But we will start to label it. This could be some kind of consolidation here. Something like this. A, B, C, D, E. Right? Let me go back. That's probably what we're going to get. Something like that. So my guess is it's going to do something like this. A, B, C, D, E, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, next, Hive. Whoops, damn. Had this Y wave here. Could be the B and Y. Let's see, or nope, that's done. That's what we want to see. You see that? Took out all the peaks. Capitulation. That's a Y. That's a true Y wave. So that's probably finished. So it's probably starting to build its first wave off the lows. Stealthily, quietly accumulate. There's your divergence. So yeah, so you probably got the first wave off the lows here. Something like yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5. Let's see. Yep, something like that. So if you get a pullback, it comes back down to 159, probably want to buy it. If it can do that. It may just erase divergence. We don't know. It could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that looks like that lows in. You don't want 125 to break, is what I'm saying. Right? And this was another one. We've had this pattern for a long time. So looks like you found a couple more bullish instruments here. Okay. I say let's take a look. I'll get to the other comments. I just want to get through the super chats here, guys. Let's take a look here. All right, Lily. Lily is the bellwether of the healthcare sector, right? It's the it's like it is the healthcare sector. Like healthcare sector cannot rally without Lily. This is the chart we have right now. So we're looking at one more leg lower. We've been looking at that. It did a UNH type rug pull right on a big pump, right? For some reason, it looks like healthcare is about to have its own other rug pull moment. So I don't, here it is. This is the chart. You have 3 down, 3 up, basically. So let's take a look here. So if it's moving in 3s, let's take a look here. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, and then yeah, let's just make that an ABC, so it's right here. Make it there. So that's what we're looking for. Something like that. Could we still be in B? It's possible. But I would just be patient. Eventually this top is about to burst. And just like we had it, I mean, I've had this here and that's the level right there. And it could go lower. We'll see, but I would start to buy it at 612, 600. And again, this is something we are watching. Our elite members are watching this because it is going to be a good buy. Now, I have it as a wave 4 on the Grand Super Cycle, not a 2. So we still have one more high. But it could extend, right? Could extend. Let your winners ride. Let's take a look. CPNG. Take a look here. So we'll just call it off this low and label it off that low. One, two, 3, 4, 5. And then 5. So it looks like we made 5 waves up off that low. 1, 2, 3, Why does it do that? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what I'll be looking for, right? And so if you're done, once 5 is over, then you'll have a pullback. And it should be over any minute, any moment. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, it still probably has more upside. There's probably some more upside coming, but it's coming to the end, right? It's coming to an end of a 5, and then it should pull back down to 18 again, somewhere around there. And then you can buy that dip. And it should come out of that. All right, and then the next is 5. 5 below. Drove by that today. Didn't seem too busy, but doesn't mean anything, I guess. So here you see how we had Y and we had this pathetic little bounce and you broke the lows. And you see how you erased divergence here, but you didn't break the cycle. So it can mean a couple things. Let's go to the monthly and look. Oh, I wish you didn't break those lows. Now, it looks like on the monthly you're still in the overall correction, but on the weekly leg, on this leg, you've ended this leg. So this looks like 5 down. Yeah, I guess we'll call it done because if you look at the count, it's probably an A, B, C, and this is a 5-wave move down. So it's probably just going to continue higher. It's probably finished. It's already finished. Something like this. And then it did 5 waves down. The correction, though, technically has not ended. It may end soon if it can push up higher. But there is a chance if you come back and break this low, then you have then it's back to that this Y ended here. This was a shallow connector, and then it's going to go even lower, and that could even create the go to zero moment. So I don't think so. So I think if you don't believe it's going bankrupt, you have to buy it here, and the bulls have to defend 54, and it's already what, that's double off the lows. So I think the bottom, I think it's safe to say the bottom's in, but is it due a pullback? Probably. But it doesn't even have a wave 5 yet, so it's hyperbolic. Like again, it's something like that. The first pullback is obviously a buying opportunity. MUF. Don't know if I know this company or. So this one looks like it had a big correction. It looks like it's been in a bear market pretty much its whole life. You're starting to see the divergence erase, so it's starting to push into a wave 3. It's trying, but it has not broke out yet. So we have to label it bullish, but you see there's only 3 waves here, 3 waves down. It's still just very corrective in nature. Honestly, I'd stay away from it. It looks like to me just a massive corrective wave that ended. That's what it looks like to me. Right, and then something like that. And this is 5 up. So yeah, I would just, I mean, I don't like it. I don't like how it looks at all. All right, DRS. Looks like we got that one pretty much right here. Looks like we need a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So it's still grinding higher in wave 3 of 5. Doesn't look finished yet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, and 5. Right, and then a pullback. All right, something like that's coming. All right. Yeah, Sharon, the MOS move. Yeah, so MOS is tricky, but we'll take a look at Mosaic. Mosaic was kind of like trying to have people give up on it, right? But we did not. Right down here, and now we saw the whipsaw back up in C. Now C will end, right? So C is going to end, right? And that looking at this structure could create all new lows, but the C can also continue to extend quite high. So we don't want to just like give up on it. So looking at it, looks like we need a big 4 and 5 at least before we can get worried about C. So we still want to buy the dip in 3 waves on this if it emerges. See how we've taken out divergence here with on the shorter cycle. So this is actually going to continue to extend. So this 3 is not even a 3 anymore. So it's just going to keep pushing higher. So like the C wave can go incredibly high, as we've known, and we've watched this on many other stocks. So we just keep extending it. So I think if you happen to buy it back when I've been talking about it, you just hold, right? The February highs. I mean, we're well above the February highs, right? But these are the stocks nobody really knows unless you follow me, right? And I mean, so there you go. I think it's just going to keep pushing higher. But at some point, this C will end, and then then it'll collapse. But for now, it's like, hey, there's no reason to worry. Like, look, that's pretty good. Just keeps going higher. All right. My view on it is higher. All right, BBAI. That's kind of trading with the Russell somewhat, but then it also has this meme stock feel. So let's take a look at what's going on here with it. So the question is, what is this? So we have 5 down, we have a connector, and we have another 5 down here. So is this a 4 wave or not, or is this the low on 3 down? All right. So if I look, see we erase divergence there. Yeah, is this one let's label this run properly here and see. See, it's all one cycle, so it's like I have it. So I think it's got to have this. Get these lines out of here. So it's got to have this impulse play out to finish it up. So I think it's going to be something like, kind of like we're seeing here. And to negate that, we have to come back and take out 440. So if we take out 440, then this this is a 3-wave move down and not 5, which would also mean we have 3 and 3, and yeah, then I would be more bullish on it, because then you could pump, it could come up in another swing higher and another big pump. And why? Come back up to 1361. So taking this high out would be huge. Technically, it would negate this, and then it would turn this into a 3-wave leg, which means it probably is going to squeeze back up and take out those highs. So watch, keep a watch on that level. Below that level, though, you know, we want to see this 5. You want to see this low break in 5. And then once it does that, I think then it's pretty clear that the path I have here will be the one that it will follow before you get the big move higher again. So I think it's kind of like we'll have to just watch and see it play out. Okay. How's the market going to crash if Netflix is going to pull back into 2, then 3 of 3? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to, you know, it's only one stock though. If we had more stocks like that, I would not be calling a crash. But I'm not really calling a crash. I'm calling another low. Just understand, like, what I am actually saying. I'm calling another low here, right? To break this low. I'm not calling the end of crash as the end of the market as we know it. Right? So again, I'm just calling something that will look something like this. And look, I'm calling a 4. And guess what? A 5. You don't see this going down. So you may be following somebody else, right? You may be conflating me with another person. Now I'm bearish, but I'm not like crazy. Okay? That's where I'm at. So Netflix makes a wave 3, this makes its 5. Now maybe when we pull back, maybe Netflix doesn't pull back as much. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know, but it does, yeah, it makes me scratch my head a little bit, but like, it's the only big cap tech stock, right? We follow all these stocks. It's the only one. Unfortunately, Netflix, even if Netflix, let's say Netflix does not dip in this too, and it just goes, that is not going to be enough to take this market to new all-time. It just won't work. The mathematics, it just isn't going to be possible. So it won't matter. So it can, and we have seen that happen, a random stock like that do that, but it can't bring the market by itself. So I don't know what it means, but that's what it means to me. I'm not calling like massive like a calamity here. I'm not calling a 4. And also, again, the bond market, I'm not calling the calamity. I'm calling like the whipsaw, like this, right? And again, I keep showing this, and I see what I'm saying, where let me find it here, the one I had labeled. There it is. Buy TLT here. And then as we drop back down, market and growth pump, market peaks, bonds and stocks pump, the wave 5, right? This is the final lows in the market we're just talking about. The April lows break with a rate crisis. This is going to break the April lows, and then somebody's going to step in and stop that, and it's going to create the super pump here, where everything melts up. That's what I have. That's my prediction. You guys can take it what it were. Now, other things are going to ebb and flow against that. I don't know. Because if rates don't do this, then the markets are going to crash. There is no way the markets are going to stay supported. If this does not play out and we just go higher, then I'm wrong. And then Netflix is in that alternative count I mentioned, where the more orthodox count, where this is a 5. And this was a 4. A 4 and a 5. And then it's just going to go straight down. And that's the more orthodox way of labeling it. So, and the only reason I don't have it labeled that way is the RSI doesn't support it, because the orthodox way of labeling it with using the RSI implies the wave 5 goes back to 2010. And that's just ridiculous to think. But hey, maybe it is possible. God, I don't know. And if it is, then this is probably going to go way below anyone's imagination. So I don't think that. So anyway, that's how I look at the market right now for that. Does that comment kind of, I had to say something like that. Yeah, and it is true with GME. That's why GME and AMC could probably double correct lower. We're watching that. But sometimes GME will pump as the last thing before the whole market corrects, right? And haven't we seen that before? GME makes this massive short squeeze. It's like the last thing to move higher after a big market surge. Then GME moves, and then that's it. And then the whole market's ready to peak out. LP. Let me go to your other ones. LPSN. Live person. Yeah, they've been in the news lately. Let's see. How did this play out here? Are we in this 4 still? Let's take a look. Damn, I don't know what's wrong with TradingView today. It's like glitching out. I don't know. Maybe it's done. Maybe it's done. And maybe in here is just some 4s and 5s that were just really tight. Let's take a look. Or we're just off by a swing here. Probably just call it done. Because this looks like 5 off the low. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, if you look, this cycle's probably over. It was probably just a really tight 4s and 5s at the end here. We just don't have them. You know, something like this probably happened, took place. Label it later, but basically the cycle's over, right? And now you're in a 5. Let's look at everything else though. See how you didn't know RSI? See how you're bleeding the dailies, resetting, but the price really isn't falling. So this is it's an opportunity. 1, 2, and so I'll label it something like this. Oops. Because we didn't erase divergence, I don't think it's corrective, so I do think it's going to make another wave higher. Something like that. And it probably is in a dip buy area right now. Close. So there's your dip buy right there. In this area. So, so I'm really looking for something like this. Okay. Something like that. And then you can decide what you want to do after that. It could be a 1-2, 1-2 even. But I think the low's in because you erase divergence and the bounce has been too significant, and it also has divergence at this peak. So you see how you have 1, 2, 3, but it's still divergent, so I don't think it's a corrective bounce. Now, if it shoots up in 5 and it erases divergence, that could change things, but I do think you're going to get something like this. At least, and then maybe another pullback. Like that, something like that. Okay, and then GUR, that's one watching, keeping an eye on. That one looks like we call in the low in and should be ready for a pump, right? And did we take this peak out? Almost. Once we take out 1910, it should just continue higher. It almost hit the ideal target was 1378. We felt like $1 short, but I mean the whole, again, trying to be a little more aggressive given the how like crazy, kind of speculative the market's become recently. So if you just look at this count, it looks like we have an ABC. We have 5 clear waves. It almost hit our target. You have your wave 4, kind of close to it. Could it go lower? It's always possible. If you really want to be safe, you wait for the high to break and then buy the pullback, or you wait and hopefully 5 extends here and you get lucky and you can buy it lower. So I label it this way. I think the low's in, but we need that high to break. Like look at the weekly, way oversold. Daily concerns me a little bit. So the daily does support like the rest of the market, perhaps 5. Could extend lower, or we can go sideways in 2 for a while. So one or the other. So keep an eye on it. So we are watching it. Again, not really ready to take a swing at it yet. We're not ready. But I will do that. It's just not. I think buying here would just be just kind of a YOLO. Hey, let's just play this wave through, play this count, and if it's right, yeah, big YOLO win. But I mean, it could easily consolidate more sideways or surprise us with a 5, and then this would be great. This is perfect setup. But I'm aware that the market's been just kind of really speculative. So we may get this and then go from there. But that's what I'm looking at. All right, Uber. Uber made this new all-time high, I think. We pretty much have had Uber okay on our channel. Not sure what happened to our drawings here. So Uber, again, if you look at the chart, looks like there's your 3. There's your 3. So it's some kind of 5th wave here. And it's in a 3 of 5. So it's probably got more upside. So again, just looking at the chart real quick, right? Just not spending a lot of time looking at it. But let's go ahead and label what we have here. Right, just like the RSI supports this count. So it's still in 3. So you need a 4 and a 5. You could erase divergence, but it's got to take that peak out. So that's going to be tough to do. So I think for right now you just kind of label it this way. Looks like another 1-2, and again, people are going crazy over this on TV. They talk Uber like it's the next Apple, but here it is. But that's the chart. They're talking it up. They're pumping it up. So I think you got something like that. So I would definitely say more upsides coming. Okay. All right, and then Pfizer. Pfizer's been in a bad situation. It's broken some key pivots, and I was trying to think of, something a little more realistic, not so bearish. So I was looking for like a whipsaw in X here. So if I put X here, then you have 3, a connector, and then you need one more swing down. And then you get Y. That very well could happen. I think that's what we're going to go with because that lines up with the rest of the healthcare sector count. So we're just going to go with that. We need to just ignore that box. That box is meaningless now. We did get a little bit of a bounce. So we're looking for another leg lower in 5 waves. And chart support, my guess, we back test 17. This cluster of support gets back tested here. That's my guess. So we'll keep an eye on it, and then we also need to erase divergence. Take that out. Take that out. The monthly is wide open to the downside. The weekly had a little bit of a relief rally in B. The daily as well. So that's kind of where I think we are now. The other one that I had just a minute ago that I got rid of was we're in the market makers are going to do a bigger X, and we have an A, B, C, and then a rug pull. We don't have that yet. It would be just guessing if we, there's just, but I think you could watch this line on the weekly. If you break that line, then I think that's in play. Until then, I would just go with the more classic view that you're in something like this. And this is some kind of 1-2-1-2 setup. All right, CRV. Looks like crypto, CRV, there it is. All right, so looks like that one's been playing out okay so far for us. And we'll just kind of label this C leg. Could be 5 down from this high, which means we would have peaked already. So why don't we label it that way? I think we're just going to be a little bit safer and label it that way. Label it 5 from the low. But I'll just double see. Yeah, no, I can't do that. It's got to be what I had earlier. So we have to go back to this. Yeah, so it looks like it should have maybe one more high. And then another leg down. Something like that. And this would be 1, 2, right? Something like that. So the reason we think it's going to do that is the lower low here. Okay. So if it's 5, then it's already peaked. And then it's just going to go down in 3. So I think these lows are going to break. But I would be surprised if this low breaks. So I think you got something like that coming. All right. Looks like we got through super chats. I'll go through the comments real quick and review everyone's comments that I didn't talk about. DXYZ bottomed. I think it's actually topping in 5. I think it has bottomed. And I think it's off the first wave off of that bottom, and it's pulling back. Well, it has not pulled back, but it will pull back with the market. And that's on our shopping list, and our elite members are watching that, because that will be on our shopping list. PLL is trades with the lithium, with the green stocks. I think if oil is likely to break down, you're going to see that go lower. If oil is going to go higher and you're going to get solar to extend higher along with the EV stocks, then I would expect you get PLL to go to go higher, basically. And then short in oil. Yeah, so I think oil is tricky. Like watch that key level, 64, 65 level. If it's below that, I think you got to be bearish. If it goes above it, look for that kind of more drawn out connector wave with a more of a midterm pump in energy. And that then we'll just shift gears and go back and be more bullish on energy, and we'll just trade what the market's given us. If not, we're bearish energy. Uranium, I feel like the URA's bottomed as well, and it's up on 5 and it's pulling back, and it's on our shopping list as well. I believe uranium's pulling back, and it'll pull back with oil as well, but I think uranium has a good future ahead of it. Along with oil, obviously when oil bottoms. You talked about the Netflix, how can it crash? GME and AMC squeeze. Yeah, I mean, guys, the GME, again, I go through this with my pro members, but GME is got this bullish setup. Of course, markets can't crash, or go down, but you can't rule out. You have 3 and 3 in a connector, and then you take another leg lower. So that's in play, but we're taking a more bullish tone in the market given how exuberant everyone has been lately, buying the dip. So we're being a little more aggressive because look, you're not really risking a lot, right? In the end, and I'm not worrying so much about, oh my God, it violates a correlation or two, because then you're playing the market like chess. And I don't want to play the market like chess. I don't want to do that. So we play this, and we have seen before, GME has pumped, and then major cycles in the market end right after that. So we have seen that before. Okay. Anyway, TAN, I think it's a 4 and needs one more low. And I think oil is the key to that, and it's what it's telling you. when this happens is that one more low. But TAN also says that maybe we're not going to get this final leg lower. If TAN just needs one more low, that's why I'm starting to think maybe oil will bottom here, make this major low here. So we have to think about that. So that's something I'm thinking about too. If the TAN can keep pumping like it's been doing, then you're looking at something completely different. Because I just don't see how solar can move without the oil complex moving with it. And also solar moving higher with interest rates going higher, because a lot of that shit's financed. And higher rates is usually bad for business when it comes to solar projects. It's usually that's why it's really a head scratcher, right? And I think they even said First Solar had some really bad earnings or something, and it still went up. So I think it's a classic four-wave, like short squeeze, just kind of like too many people were bearish, and just there was just too many people on one side of the boat. And now that that's been all wiped out, then I think it's going to resume its trend lower. Cannabis is tough. We gotta keep an eye on that. It's MSOS. It's gotta make a move higher, or it's in another corrective bounce, and that's tough because that's running out of room to the downside. It's just like at some point it's either what is it? Is the sector going bankrupt, or are we gonna start seeing it, find value somewhere? I mean, I don't follow the fundamentals in that industry, so I can't really comment on what's going on. Maybe it's getting hit hard with tariffs, but we have seen a bounce in that sector, and we need to see some follow through now. All right, how do you trade Forex? The same way, the Forex, and I cover a couple things, but if you have Forex, I can cover that if you want to either look at Forex. So that is it. That's it for my super chat. I've been on for a while. FFAI. I don't know what that one is. I'll have to look at FFAI later. I don't know that one. So that's it for my live stream tonight, guys. So yeah, the market. Like I said, 3 waves up. I all we know, we'll get a pullback. We're either going to get a 4 and a 5 and another pullback, or we're going to get a 1-2, 1-2, and a hyper bullish 3 of 3, or we're going to get what I have here. There's really, that's the only options I can think of. And so it's too early to kind of speculate which one it is, but I do know on the pullback, we have a shopping list. We are going to buy some things, and then we'll benefit. If it's a 5 or a hyper 1-2, 1-2 bullish setup, we'll benefit because we have stuff on our shopping list, aka Netflix. But if it's something like this, a catastrophe takes shape, that's fine. We'll see that, and then we'll step away from the market, and we'll just avoid it, because this will happen very rapidly. We won't have to wait very long to see that happen. So we'll know, and we'll figure it out. I don't like to trade the indices at all, though, but I know a lot of people do. But there's a lot of other stocks out there that are going to be on our shopping list, and we'll be buying those. And again, like the chest pounding and all that, like good for them. I'm happy that people made a lot of money, and that's good. Have to keep the money. And then also the post about everyone being blown up. No one's being blown up. Like I know there's other people on the other side of this trade, and that's why I keep saying, like, some guy lost $100 million in selling calls to somebody. Like, who's that person? Like, who's losing that? And I've yet to find out who these people are, but I'm sure somebody must be losing that money, or they're hedged some other way, and no one's losing anything. But I don't think the bears are being blown up. Somebody else maybe is, but I think the bears left the market down here. It's just my take on it. But maybe not. Maybe they've been trying to short every peak, and who knows? I don't know. But anyway, guys, good luck, good night, and we'll see what happens on Monday with this downgrade, if that's going to be enough of a catalyst to get